It's another edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach and Keeneland's Director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman, here to take a look at the Breeders' Cup Preview Day card out at Santa Anita, which will host the Breeders' Cup coming up in a little over a month. So we're going to take a look at the 5 Grade 1 stakes races that are on their card, starting with race 5, Jim, the Grade 1 Zenyatta. Fillies and mares 3 and up going a mile and a 16th. I just wrote in my Weekend Warrior blog for Keeneland Select, beholder, and don't even worry about anything else. Just bet her to win. And if you want to make a bet, otherwise pass the race. But if you want to bet beholder to win, and don't try any exactas. What about you?
Yeah, just watch this one because I don't think close hatches beat beholder in the Ogden Phipps at Belmont, but that going to Santa Anita is a completely different deal. 7 for 8 at Santa Anita. She's working great. They just announced they're going to sell her after the Breeders' Cup. And Beholder looks like, to me, she's, I don't want to say the lock of the year, but pretty strong single to pick threes. I think Iatapa, if she runs back to the Vanity at Santa Anita, was a mile and an eighth race, but I mean, she won by 10 3/4 and just ran great that day. But running against Grace Hall and Scherzinger is a little bit different than running against Beholder. So I think Beholder is the single of the day right here.
And Close Hatches is running in the Spinster opening weekend at Keeneland, and then they should be getting a rematch out in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. 6th race at Santa Anita Saturday. So. Should be fun, too. I think Close Hatches will run big here. 6th race is the Grade 1 front runner for 2-year-olds, mile and a 16th. Who'd you land on here?
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher picking these 2-year-olds. This one, if you look at it, and we have the same problem at Keeneland, or had the same problem at Keeneland until we put a new dirt surface in. When you look at a polytrack horse that goes to dirt, I mean, how do you equate running at Del Mar and then go back to running at Santa Anita when these horses just have not run anything on dirt? So it's a shot in the dark here. I don't know which ones will run best, but I'm going to take Sky Preacher. Sky Preacher, the 3, is a Doug O'Neill who had a couple races on the dirt to open his career and ran 2nd and 4th at Santa Anita. Then got on the turf at Santa Anita and then Del Mar and almost won the Oak Tree Juvenile turf last time out. So I'm going to think Sky Preacher is used to Santa Anita's dirt, may transfer that form, went from a 66 to a 77 buyer last time. He takes a step up here, runs in the 80s. He's got a real shot to win this. American Pharaoh ran a 101 in Del Mar Futurity, and you just don't know if that horse is that good or if that horse is that good on polytrack. So I'm going to try to take a stand against him because he's going to be overbet on that buyer figure because it just stands out. Nobody else has run over an 80, or I actually calculated around a 90 at Del Mar in the same race. And then Lord Nelson, the 2, is a $340,000 purchase at the Keeneland September sale, and only ran once for Baffert at Del Mar at 5 furlongs. Skyway, the 9, disappointed in Del Mar Futurity, but may come back. Had a decent race in the Bashford Manor on Churchill's dirt and ran great here, breaking his maiden at Keeneland in spring. So this one's a crapshoot, but I'm going to take Sky Preacher. I like Skyway a little bit, and I'm going to take a stand against American Pharaoh.
I am actually going to go with a favorite here, American Pharaoh. Normally try to beat favorites, but I really liked that last race, and I'm going to bet that he will be able to transfer the form to the dirt at Santa Anita, and so I'm going to look for a little value in the 2-hole in an exacta, and I'm going to try both of the Cassie horses. Skyway, you mentioned, was, I think, the favorite in the Del Mar Futurity, and may get a little overlooked here off just a so-so race, and I think he could bounce back on the dirt. And then Conquest Panthera, another one from that Conquest stable that Cassie trains for. And I'm hoping either of those could be a little bit of a price to finish second behind American Pharaoh in an exacta. American Pharaoh, the pick for me in the front runner. 7th race, the Grade 1 Rodeo Drive, which is, you can call it the best betting race, the toughest handicapping challenge, but I thought this was a really tough spot. Where did you land?
Yeah, this one's tough as well, and I wound up with Emollient. I was just, I don't know if the last 2 races, she really hadn't run well in the Diana or the Beverly D, but she was so good in the spring, and she almost won the game lead. Miss Serendipity beat her by a nose. I think she'll be a decent price. Mott gets them ready. I don't think he's shipping out there for for fun. And I think Emollient has a shot at running big here. Rusty Slipper is one for Grand Motion I wouldn't throw out off a grade 3 win in the Violet at Monmouth. I could use Paranda here off the Yellow Ribbon. I could use Cozy Up Lady, the one horse. I could use a lot of them, but I'm going to take Emollient on top of those 3 horses with probably all, and I've even left out Stormy Lucy and Irish Mission. So I think this is a really good betting race.
The one you mentioned, Emollient, the one I started to go with, just out of respect for Bill Mott. I'm guessing he wouldn't go all the way across country, seemingly prepping for the Breeders' Cup if he didn't think that there was some valid excuse for that last race. I think the first one maybe he's coming back from a layoff, and that was a really tough field. It's been some next out winners coming out of there. So I think Emollient is very dangerous here. But I ended up going for a price, talking myself into a price here, which is not always a good thing to do. But Scarlet Strike, number 5, horse that just loves to run second and third. But the buyer last time for Hollendorfer was the best buyer in over a year for this horse. And in a race with no standout, kind of looking for a price, I just thought maybe because she's flashed some potential at times. I thought maybe he's getting her to a peak effort. If she can prove off that last race, then she could have a shot here. She run well at Santa Anita as well. So I'm going to try her with Emollient, with Paranda, and Miss Serendipity on the outside, number 13 for McAnally. But a little bit of a reach perhaps for number 5, Scarlet Strike for me. 8th race, grade 1 Awesome again. And it's 3-year-olds and up at a mile and an eighth and a prep for the Classic, and I couldn't go against Shared Belief in here. I thought he was just tremendously impressive at the Pacific Classic, working lights out since then for Hollendorfer. So I just will play a straight exact to Shared Belief over Majestic Harbor, who ran big the last time he was on the main track at Santa Anita. What about you?
Yeah, my comments were just want to watch this one to see Shared Belief prep for the Breeders' Cup Classic. And if he wins this, he's going to be the favorite over California Chrome. Again, the 3-year-olds. This seems to be the year of the 3-year-olds, but he's just incredible. The only negative I could come up with, possibly, it's a real stretch, is that he's only run one race on dirt, and that was at Los Alamitos. And that one is, how does that track compare to Santa Anita? Don't know, but Pacific Classic was unbelievable. I mean, he beat older horses there so easily. And I'm going to do a cold exacta based on that race with Imperative. Imperative ran a decent third there. Actually was pretty much the best of the rest. Toast of New York was fairly impressive, but he's not in here. So I'm going to take Shared Belief over Imperative. I'm just going to watch this. I love Shared Belief, and I think he's probably the Breeders' Cup Classic winner as well. And he's awfully tough. And if he likes the Santa Anita dirt, it's going to be tough to handle today.
10th race, we'll skip to. That's the other grade 1. It's the Chandelier for 2-year-old fillies at a mile and a 16th. And I did not have a strong opinion here. I ended up settling on Conquest Eclipse, the 2. Thought the last race was an improvement. And the pedigree, I think by Malibu Moon, so she's really bred more for dirt. So I'm thinking she improved on the poly track. Maybe she improves even more getting back to a better surface for her. And from the 2-hole, I think she could go to the front and control the pace. So I'm going to try Conquest Eclipse, the 2, use her with Maybelline, the 6, the 7, Morning Coffee, and the 10, Dad's Princess, who probably would have been my second option in here. What about you?
Yeah, you left out my horse. I like Conquest Eclipse. I do. I think Cassie is a great trainer, and I think that Del Mar race probably sets her up very well for here, and I like the Churchill race where she broke her mate. I like Angela Renee here. Pletcher trains this horse. The Spinaway caught a sloppy track and obviously just hated it, and they didn't try with her. I like betting a horse back that got in the race, but then Johnny Velasquez just probably saw she wasn't running that day. She got bumped at the start, and she got beat by 19 lengths. I think that doesn't mean a thing. You go back at the Adirondack in her maiden special weight race at Belmont, and she shows a whole lot of potential, and I think that she's got a real shot here with Bejarano up. I like Conquest Eclipse to run second, or possibly third. I also like Kelly Breen's horse, Sunday Sonnet, the inside horse, shipping from Saratoga out here. So Kelly Breen doesn't run many horses on the West Coast. And your other horses that you mentioned, I could make a case for all of them. This is a nice betting race to end the day. So, single Share Belief and go as deep as you can right here. But I'm going to take a little shot with Angela Renee here.
And in case folks have forgotten, the horses shipping from the east have done pretty well out at Santa Anita on this day and Breeders' Cup Day.
They have, and that it didn't seem to be that way on synthetic.
No,
but certainly on the dirt track at Santa Anita, they have done well.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye on as you handicap the Breeders' Cup Day preview card at Santa Anita. Next week, remember, racing starts on Friday, October 3rd at Keeneland with the Alcibiades heading up the weekend stakes card, the Darley Alcibiades, the Stall Keenan Ogden Phoenix on the opening day card, and just a great lineup of stakes races for Fall Stars weekend. So make sure that you're getting everything in order with your Keeneland Select account and your reservations and all of that. And we will be back with In the Money podcasts next Friday. We'll start every day of the fall meet. We'll have podcasts on the Keeneland feature race for each day, and then on Saturday we'll have our regular one that we do looking at all the stakes races around the country. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.